Located in Grandview, Iowa. We mix old and new goods together so that you can find the story.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. I'm excited to be here with you all this morning, and I'm super excited to talk about our topic of the day. I think you all are going to be interested and want to hop on and probably register right now after the show, or during the show maybe even. But to start off the show, as always, I want to say thank you to our sponsors. Without them, it wouldn't be possible to bring you all of the cool stuff happening in Muscatine. So I want to say thank you to our new sponsor, Impact Athletic Performance, R7, just right up the hill, such a great shopping experience. Toyota of Muscatine, our friends just right across the way. CBI, of course, Hy-Vee, Lutheran Living. We are just so thrilled for all of these people to be on board and to want to bring you such great news happening here in Muscatine. So today we have a pretty cool topic. So about 2 months ago, we had some MCC students come on and chat with you a little bit about a new group that had started in Muscatine and talk about some of the work that they were doing in Muscatine, just surrounding racial injustice and just some of their thoughts about it. And it was a really exciting show for me. I learned a lot throughout it about their perspective, and I think that you all enjoyed it too. It spread pretty quickly, actually. It was a great show. So it was fun to get their perspective, and it's cool to see that this is continuing to grow. And today I have Vivian and Krista on to talk a little bit about some next steps, some more community partnerships that have kind of sprung sort of from this. And we're bringing some more stuff to our community to continue to educate and continue to sort of bring this information into our community for Muscatine. So let's talk a little bit about, first of all, about the partnership that kind of got this all started, and then we'll talk about the event coming up.
Okay, that sounds good. So I work for the Stanley Center for Peace and Security, and I work at, in our global education programming. So about probably close to a year ago, myself and Muscatine Community College and the Community Foundation of Greater Muscatine started talking about, an author event, that there's an opportunity to bring in different authors to talk about lots of different topics, right? But the goal of it being bring new perspectives to people, get them to critically reflect upon their beliefs and how they see the world, and maybe see it through somebody else's eyes. Yep. And we wanted to have the theme of these author events to be about diversity, equity, inclusion, to provide people in Muscatine that opportunity to expand their horizons, kind of expand their perspective, consciousness,
Sure.
And so we brought in an author last fall, Mbolo Mboye, to talk about her book, Behold the Dreamers. And that was a really fun event. Vivian actually did a fabulous job closing that event out and talking about her own experiences. And so that was kind of a first step into this. And then we wanted to partner with the Muscatine Community School District on the second event. And we were hoping to find a young adult author that we could both do an event in the school and an event for the community. Okay. And so we were super excited to find out that the high school was reading Jason Reynolds' All American Boys. And I should say Jason Reynolds and Brendan Kiley co-wrote All American Boys, which is a really interesting book because it is about an incident that happens, but the chapters alternate between the two main characters, and each of the authors wrote one of those main characters. So
Cool.
I think it really does a good job of bringing in lots of perspectives of not just of those two main characters that are high school boys, but also their family and their friends, bringing those perspectives into the incident. And so the goal of the three organizations is really just to provide opportunities for people to, again, engage in different perspectives through storytelling, because we know storytelling is a great way to do that,
Yep.
right? And then also to kind of critically reflect again on, oh, okay, well, maybe this is a different way of looking at this than I thought going into it. And, if people can walk away with that, okay, that's a new perspective, that's something new, that's what we're hoping for.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even if you don't completely change someone's mind about something, having a new perspective, hearing a new story, is very valuable.
Yes.
Regardless. So I love this. So
Yeah.
I haven't read the book, but
you have plenty of time still.
I know.
Ashley, so
I'm very intrigued, especially hearing that it's kind of co-wrote, and that's interesting to
and
hear.
it is a YA book or a young adult book, so it is it's a fairly easy read. And Jason Reynolds was selected in 2020 as I gotta say it right, the National Ambassador for Young People's Literature for the Library of Congress.
Wow.
And so he has been out and about, and he also, Ibram X. Kendi wrote Stamped from the Beginning, which is a book that chronicles the history of racism in the world, not necessarily the United States, but and he wrote a YA version of that too, Jason Reynolds did. So he's been out and about, and I've been listening to some of his talks. And what's really cool about him is he was into poetry, but he was a very reluctant reader when he was a child. And he'll say that the first book that he read, a full book, was when he was 17 years old.
Oh, wow.
So one of the things, like, he really writes with that in mind, and he writes with that in mind of how to engage young people. So like the main event of the book happens in the first chapter. I've heard him say, you shouldn't have to read 50 pages to figure out what the book's about. So he definitely is a really engaging writer, and so is Brendan Kiley. They both have written lots of different books and are very popular authors.
Very cool. So let's talk a little bit about the actual event. So we're going to get to actually chat with the author.
Well, yes. So how it will work, because that it's virtual.
Yep,
so that
sure.
provides some limitations, as
Of
you
course.
well know with everything. So what we'll do is Jason will have an opportunity to give a couple opening remarks at the beginning, and then the conversation is actually going to be moderated by a group of young adults from the Celebrate Muscatine Committee.
Awesome.
And they're the young people who created that website, celebratemuscatine.org. So if you haven't heard about celebratemuscatine.org, I'd really encourage people to go there. The whole concept of that website was to celebrate the diversity and the stories, the historical stories and the current day stories of people in our community.
Yeah.
So they will be moderating, and they'll start out with a conversation with Jason, some questions that they have to ask about the book, and then we'll be collecting questions from the audience during that time. And then we'll transition to a Q&A, but they'll ask the questions from the audience.
Yep,
so,
makes sense.
So who you'll see on screen, you'll see Jason, and then you'll see our moderators, and then they'll close out the event for us too. So it's unfortunately we can't have everybody ask live because
that could be crazy.
Yeah,
but there is an opportunity for you guys to still, like she said, there's still time for you to read the book. And then have questions about it. And
so if you want to register, it's really easy. You go to stanleycenter.org, and that is something, just to remind folks, people still think of us as the Stanley Foundation because that's who it was for lots and lots of years. So that's stanleycenter.org and /inclusive dialogue, all one word together. Or you can look for the Stanley Center for Peace and Security on Facebook, and we have multiple posts about it, so you can go through there. The Community Foundation is posted on Facebook too, so you can go.
We can try to
there.
Put it in the comments of today's show as well, so it's easy for you guys to find.
That'd be perfect. Yep, to stanleycenter.org /inclusive dialogue. We encourage you to get registered because we'll send out the joining links to people who are registered. So that's the way you'll get the information about joining the event. But it's just been a really beautiful partnership because I think all three organizations are committed to encouraging dialogue, to build understanding about diversity and inclusion. And so we're really excited. Gives people the opportunity to read the book and to ask some questions, and it's really fun.
So how did we choose this book, this author? Was it solely because they were reading it in the schools, or did that just happen to be?
Well, so we kind of went through some young adult authors. So we have an agency that we work with, the authors,
sure,
because that's the way this all works.
Right, of course.
And so we pared it down to about 5 authors that had written young adult books that we felt like fit the theme of what we wanted for inclusive dialogue.
Sure.
And we sent it out to teachers, and it was so funny because right away I had some high school English teachers. They were like, "Oh my God, we're reading All American Boys. It would be so amazing." So in the morning, Jason's actually doing an event just with the high school students that will be moderated by the high school students, and they're working on their questions and everything for him. And then the evening event is open to anybody who wants to join. So we're really excited to have this partnership with the Muscatine Community School District and the high school. So it was a win-win, right?
Yeah,
We all were excited. And Jason is a very engaging speaker. I mean, like I said, I've been watching a lot of his videos, and he's very interesting and engaging to listen to.
I think we have a photo of the book that we can maybe bring up, just so that you make sure, if you're going to go out and purchase it, that you make sure that you grab the right one. You know, when we're searching, just to make sure that you purchase the right one, so that you're that you're in the, in the right conversation.
Somewhere to check is Musser Public Library did have some extra copies at the reference desk. So if you call and ask, you can see if they have some of those available to check out.
Cool.
And then, we do have a link to an Iowa bookstore if you want to order it online through an Iowa bookstore, or obviously there's lots of ways to get books. So, All American Boys, it's just the thing to pay attention to. It's co-written by Jason Reynolds and Brendan Kiley.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So how much does it cost to register for this event? That's a question I'm sure a lot of people are going to have.
$100. $1 million. It's free. Of course it's free.
It's free. I knew that, but I wanted everyone else to know too, because I actually registered last night.
Oh, good.
Yay.
Yeah. So we want to reduce barriers. We want this to be accessible to anybody who wants to participate. The other thing, you talked about where to buy the book, but I know a couple people who've listened through audio. And
cool.
I've heard, I read it, but the audiobook is supposed to be really, really well done, and it has 2 different people reading the different chapters, so it really helps with distinguishing the 2 characters, the main characters, and their points of view.
That's how I do it, Ashley. I put my headphones on, and I do the dishes or my gardening, and I'm like, oh, this is so cool.
That actually would be a cool way, with it being the 2 different voices, to really feel that.
And you get the inflection, and you get almost like you're in the scene. So that's how I prefer to do it, is to listen to the book. It's a great experience.
Wow, maybe that's how I'll do this one.
Yeah, I go back and forth. I like to. It just depends on
I can't sit still, so that's.
Yes, that makes sense. Yeah. So I'm excited about this event, and like I said, I'm so excited about the new group, Celebrate Muscatine, and I think the website is amazing. Like she said, if you haven't heard of it, if you didn't see that show, maybe look back and see all of the great things that those young adults had to say, and they joined me on the show, like I said, a few months ago, and are just really doing great things, and are such smart, amazing. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
It was such a fun conversation to have. I could have literally sat here with them all day and chatted, but everybody was looking at me like, Ashley, you have to end the show sometime.
They are busy young people. I can tell you that. I've been meeting with them to get ready for this event, and it's you kind of forget about those days when you're working multiple jobs and going to school, and just like all the directions that you're pulled. But there, I think that just Muscatine should be really proud that we have young people like that who are willing to step up and take on leadership and commit to something that they believe in, that they have beautiful stories to tell. We have wonderful diversity in this community, and I think it's a great opportunity to spotlight that and to share those stories, and hopefully we'll make other people proud of the history and the diversity that we have in our community.
Yeah, for sure. So I hope that you guys will all get registered for the event, read the book, and get a new perspective on something. You know, it never hurts to have a new perspective on something as important as this, especially. Yes. So we're going to take a quick break and then talk a little bit more about some other things happening down at the Community Foundation. But we want to spotlight one of our newest sponsors, Impact Athletic Performance, with a new video that they just had made. So we'll be right back in just a second.
We just don't work out in a single plane of motion.
All right. So, super cool. And I have been, like you guys have heard a million times by now, I started with Impact a couple weeks ago now, and it's been a really cool experience to start focusing on myself. Sometimes that's hard when you're a busy person and you're a mom and you're kind of torn, like, oh, can I spend time on myself? But I'm really trying to do that, and it feels good to spend a little bit of time on myself and my health, and it's an important thing for us all to do. So I am excited to be a part of the Impact family, and excited to kind of take you guys on my journey from literally ground zero, going through surgeries and stuff like that. I really haven't exercised in like over 3 years. I mean, like legit, like been able to do like a routine and get in shape. So I'm starting ground zero, and I'm going to take you guys along with me. But it's tough to get started, but we're going to do it together, and we'll go through all the highs and lows of that. And right now, I feel like I'm on a high. Like, it's fun to kind of get back in that routine and learn new things and meet new people, because I'm meeting a lot of new people at Impact that I don't know, and that's like one of my favorite things is people. So, but I am excited about that, and I hope that you guys will all check them out. But getting back to the topic a little bit, so finishing up a little bit, I hope that you guys will sign up, listen in and see if you can kind of get a new perspective on all of this.
And you can, anybody who's interested can look the book up online and see if it's a book that they're interested in reading, of course. But if you want to register, again, stanleycenter.org/inclusive dialogue, or you can find us on Facebook at Stanley Center for Peace and Security. We'd love to have people join. And if somebody's interested in the book that we read last fall, that recording is on that same registration page if you scroll down. So if you're interested in Bolo Mboy, that book we featured was Behold the Dreamers. She just wrote a new book that just came out, I think, a few weeks ago, maybe.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and so she was a fantastic author to listen to and chat with. But yeah, so just go visit that registration page and you can get signed up. We'd love to have you join us.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's free, and it's a chance to listen in, and whether or not you have your own questions, it's cool to hear what questions the young people in our community have about the topic, and what Jason will have to say in regards to those questions. So
I think it being moderated by those young people is a really exciting piece of this.
I think it's going to be cool. If nothing else, being there to support them and all the hard work that they're doing is worth it in and of itself. So I'm excited to support them and be there and listen in for that. I think it's like an hour and a half or something.
You know what? Thank you, Ashley, because I don't think we've said the time.
Yeah.
So that was a good reminder.
Yeah.
It's from 6 to 7:15 p.m. So it's an hour. and you can hear the perspectives and listen to the story. And, you know, again, storytelling is just such a powerful method. So I hope people will consider joining us.
Yep, I'm excited. So there are some other really cool things happening at Community Foundation. Like always, I feel like there's always stuff happening at Community Foundation. So Vivian, tell us a little bit about some of the other hot topics, hot things happening down there.
Well, we're always busy at the Community Foundation. Before I tell you a little bit more about that for the event and the book, I just want to say for parents, this is a great motivation so you can talk to your teenagers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to be reading the same book. So when they come home and you want to talk to them, they're not going to say, fine. You know, you can ask things about the book and have a little bit of a longer conversation and share perspectives together. So just my
and that's
2 cents.
You just said another thing. So also when you register, you'll get a link to the discussion guide. So as a parent, if you have a 9th or 10th grader who's reading it, that's another great resource that you could use that if you need a little help on how to start some of those questions.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, at the Community Foundation. So I just want to highlight 3 things today. We are about to award about $900,000 in scholarships.
Oh my gosh.
With the Community Foundation, Community Foundation of Loiza County, our affiliate, and Muscatine Community College. So applications are in, committees are doing their reviews, and pretty soon we're going to be announcing the awards.
Wow.
The awards are going to be announced at the senior night at each of the schools. So very exciting times for us.
Awesome.
You know, it gets me pumped, every time that we have scholarship, coming up.
Very cool.
The other thing that's coming up for the Community Foundation is grant applications will open on May 10th. And one of the grants is Racial Justice Grant, which is very aligned with what we're doing with the Stanley Center. So visit our website. Make sure that you have your information, prepped, because when the application opens, you're ready for, for the application and to apply for projects that will help our community be better.
Yep.
And then the other thing that's really exciting is just a couple of weeks ago, in collaboration with the Muscatine County, City of Muscatine, Camp Corporation, and the Community Foundation, we held the Housing Summit to address the housing shortage in Muscatine. So we found out that people want to live here, but we don't have enough houses for them.
That's a problem.
Yeah, that is a problem. There is funding from the state. So we engaged with the state and leaders in our community that can really make a difference when it comes to housing. And it was a very successful event. We shared some information about the fact that 11,000 people drive to Muscatine to work, but live elsewhere.
Yep.
So, and when that happens, we lose that multiplier, because when you live here, you shop here, you play here, you know, and then those dollars stay here, right?
Yep.
So we talked about that. We also talked about the fact that affordable housing at all income levels, there is a need for that, because no family should be spending more than 30% of their income in housing, because otherwise there will be, there won't be enough money for transportation, healthcare, childcare, nutrition. So we talked about those things, and we're really excited about what's coming up next.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's very exciting. So that's a cool partnership. Sounds like a lot of the right people are involved.
Lots of experts.
Exciting. So, well, holy cow, $900,000.
Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
So much generosity in our community, Ashley.
Yeah.
And it just warms my heart to call Muscatine my home. So
yeah. Very cool. So many cool things happening on today's show. I hope you guys will register for the event. And if you, whether you have a need for, a grant and you want to sign up on May 1st when those open up.
May 10th?
May 10th, just kidding. I need to add a zero to that.
We're going to get calls about that.
I'm sorry. Don't. Scratch that. Scratch that. May 10th. Not May 1st. Do not. Oh my gosh, add a 0 to
Just
that.
send them to Ashley when
May
they call.
10th.
Yeah,
That's right.
Give them my personal cell, right?
Cell number on the page.
Very exciting.
But that is exciting. So many wonderful people with great ideas, and like you said, lots of generous people in the community that want to help in all of the right ways. So thank you guys for coming on. I hope the event is successful. I'm excited.
I can't wait to hear what you think of the book.
I know. I'm excited. I think I might go with the audiobook for this one.
Absolutely.
And see.
You will not be disappointed.
Yes,
You will love
I
it.
think that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm excited to hear what you guys decide to do, whether you go for the audiobook option or if you're gonna actually read it yourself. But I am glad that you guys all joined us. Again, thank you so much to our guests today and to our sponsors, Lutheran Living, CBI, of course, Hy-Vee, Toyota, our newest sponsors, R7 and Impact. So many great things happening in Muscatine, and I'm so happy that I get to be the one to share those with you every single day. We will see you tomorrow with more great things. Until then, remember that kindness is free. So spread that stuff wherever you go.
Thanks for having us.
Yep.
TJD
See you
here
guys.
at Toyota Muscatine, and this is what it feels like to have a brand new Toyota.
It's the new car smell.
It's the new stories.
It's the new adventure. It's the memories.
Come and see us for your 2020 Toyota.